talk about the radius. What is the radius? Raise your hand if you know.
Half the circle.
Half the circle? Well, this is half the circle.
Half the diameter.
Half the diameter. Now, you just define radius with a word that I don't know. What is the diameter?
2 times the radius.
You say this is half a diameter. But I do not know what a diameter is. What is it? He said the distance across the circle. What's wrong with that information? It's partly right. The diameter is 2 times the radius, but you define it with something that I didn't know at the beginning. The diameter, it goes what? It's a segment that connects 2 portions of a circle and it goes through the center. It must go through the center. Another person, there's another name here that is not appearing. It's called chord. The chord is any distance from one side to the other side of the circle. So this is the chord. A chord just links 2 portions of the circle. A C-H-O-R-D. Now, the diameter is the longest chord of the circle. I can define it as the longest chord of the circle, or a segment that links 2 sides of the circle and goes through the origin. You write your own, I'm not writing. The standard form of the circle, center at the origin, is supposed to be the standard form of the equation of the circle, center at the origin. I want you to look at your blue paper. Look at your blue paper, and this is what you should see. This is what you see when you look at your, that's not it. This is what you see, right? Guys, that standard form of the equation is here, but this is the general standard form. But when it's centered at the origin, the equation is like this instead. X squared plus y squared. Is x squared plus y squared is equal to the radius squared. Why is it centered at the origin? It's because there's nothing with the x, nothing with the y, so the center is 0, 0. Only when it's centered at the origin is x squared plus y squared equals 0. Now, the standard form of circle centered at HK is on your blue paper. You will have the blue paper on any test or quiz. By the way, your next quiz is on Friday. Next Friday. So, this one will be, do I need to write it? I don't think I should write it. I think you should copy it yourself. It's right here. That one. Right here. Write it down, guys. Let's look at the first example. Here we're trying to find the center and radius of each circle. Let's start with Jacob. What's the center of this? Is center at Jacob. I'll call him Smiles. Jacob, what is the center? Who knows it? Mariana. What's the center, Mariana? Let's go ahead and look. Standard form of a circle, center at the origin. X squared plus y squared equals y squared. Let me ask you this question. Where is this center at? The origin, guys. Don't you see it's x squared plus y squared equals something else squared? So where's the origin? Guys, in case you didn't know, the origin is 0, 0. I think he says it, right? Center at the origin, then the equation looks like this. If it's not centered at the origin, now you flip the sign of whatever is associated with the x is the x value of the center. Whatever is associated with the y is the y value of the center. Just make sure you switch the sign. So let's look at example 3. I'm jumping around. For example 3, who knows what the center would be? This is actually for Brennan.
0, 0.
Example 3.
Yeah.
Remember, HK is the center.
So 6 and negative 5.
6 and negative 5. You got to switch the sign. So you note that negative 6 is in here, so it will be 6. 5 is in here, it will be negative 5. And what now? Let's talk about radius. What's the radius of this one? Please don't say 9.
4.5.
What is it?
4.
What was that? 3. Look at it. The radius is r squared. What square is 9? 3. Now, what's the radius on the example 3? 9. Now, let's go ahead and do it as fast as we can. Let's start with Steven. What's the center of example 2? Thank you, Jessica. 0, 0. Steven, back to you. This is a complicated one. What is the radius? How did we get this radius from 9? No, from 9, how did we get 3?
You square root.
So from, what would be the radius here?
Square root of 21.
Square root of 21.
Oh! Oh!
You can't do anything. 21 is 7 times 3. You can't break it down. Square root of 21. Yeah. Write the distance formula and write the midpoint formula. Once again, it's on your blue paper, right by the place where it says circle. Now, after writing the distance formula, I want you to go ahead and calculate the distance and the midpoint for this. I'm giving you about 2 minutes to calculate for number 7 and number 8. For the distance formula, this one would be the square root of 6 minus 1 square plus 3 minus 2 square. And what did you get? 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 square is 25. 3 minus 2 square is 1. 25 plus 1, 26. Square root of 26, right? Can you simplify it? No. Square root of 26 is the distance. And the other one is...
Do you want it like that, or do you want it by number? Like the number is 5.1.
Like this. This is better. Now, the midpoint, I will do 3 plus negative 1. What's 3 plus negative 1? 2. Divide by 2? 1. Negative 2 plus negative 2. Negative 4. Divide by 2? Negative 2. That would be the midpoint. The distance formula, I want to do this one with y'all. That will be 3 minus negative 1. It ends up being plus 1 squared plus negative 2 minus negative 2 squared. Now, if I say negative 2 minus negative 2, that's a 0 here. Compared to this, that would be a 4. So it's just 4 squared, right? And what's the square root of 4 squared? The square root of 4 squared is 4. What's 4 squared? Square root of 16 is? Oh, there you go. We get so far, right? Now, here's how tricky it can be. Now, on example 9, I say, write the equation of the following circle. 8 points of the diameter are 2, 6, and negative 2, negative 6. What is the first thing you will look for? The midpoint. Why? The midpoint represents what? The center. So I would say center, which is also the midpoint here, is equal to 2 minus 2 over 2 and 6 minus 6 over 2. Guess what? It's centered at 0, 0. The simple fact that it's centered at 0, 0, I know a portion of the equation. X squared plus y squared is equal to radius squared. but I don't know what the radius is. So I need now the distance formula. I will use the distance between these two if I want, this and this, or this and this, or I can use these two to find what? If I use these two, what am I finding? Is it the radius? No. I'm finding the diameter, then I divide by 2. So there are 3 different ways of solving it. Let's go with the easy way. These two. Huh?
Whoever asked the radius.
We need the radius square here.
Oh, you just plug them in.
Let's use the distance. I would say 2 minus 0 squared and plus 6 minus 0 squared, right? Now before plus 36, which is square root of 40, right? Now, what will you put here? Remember, here is radius squared. If you square the square root of 40, what you get? If you square the square root, you cancel the radical. So it's just 40. So it's not a good idea to try to simplify it for this one. Just go there and remove the radical. Any question? Roy, you got a question?
No, I don't.
Good. Yes.
So you can't just like put X and Y and plug in X and 6 plug in 2 for X and 6 for X?
Yes, and to find out the radius?
Yeah.
Well, X squared plus Y squared, yes you can, but I don't think it's a good idea always. Sometimes it will be really complicated to plug it. Imagine it wasn't at 0, 0. That would be a big equation and a big equation. That would be much harder. Matter of fact, I bet example 10 is not at 0, 0. Let's try example 10. I will start by finding the midpoint again because that's the center. For the center, I will have 8 minus 2 over 2. And I will also have 5 minus 1 over 2. That will be 8 minus 2 is 6 over 2 is 3. And this one will be 2. So it's centered at 3, 2. We clear with that so far? Now, let's use the distance formula to find out what the radius is before we write the equation. So the radius is equal to, which distance formula do you want to use? Between which 2 points? This and this or this? You pick.
-1.
Well, there's no -1, 1. Oh, that's the center. Oh, that's quick. Let's check. The center was 3, 2, so I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Roy. I will use these two, okay? So I will say square root of, inside my first parenthesis, I will do 8 minus 3 squared plus 5 minus 2 squared. 8 minus 3 is what? You understand? This is 5 squared plus 3 squared. That will be 25 plus 9, which is 34. So this is square root of 34. Do I even want to simplify this? No. What would be the equation? Let me ask Vanessa. What's the equation? X not squared. X minus 3 squared, because the center is at 3, 2, plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 34. You see how simple it is, right? All you need is the center and the radius, and you can figure it out. If I don't give you the center and the radius, I just give you the points, find the center, find the radius, and write the equation. Alright, here's the last portion. Let's go ahead and see how we can graph it. To graph it, you still need to know what? The center and the radius. Josh, what's the center here? -3, 0. So I go -3, 0. Here's my center. And what's the radius? The radius is
16.
The radius is 2. We find the square root of 4. We almost finished it. So it's 2. So I need a circle that has a radius of 2. We go like your figure won't work. Nope, I went a little too far. Somewhere there.
Sir, you're about that.
I'm sure you'll be better than. You get it?
No.
It's two. Center here, two distance everywhere, and make a nice looking circle.
That is nothing.
That's nice enough for me. I don't want to get the tools. So I can get tools, draw it too. All right, the next one, the center is at negative what? Negative 4 and positive 1. And the radius is 5. Do you want a taste of what we're going to do on Monday?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
You want a taste of it?
No.
Let me tell you what we're doing on Monday. On Monday, instead of giving you something nice like this, I will give you quadratic equations, like long. You gotta complete the square and figure out what it is. That's what I started with. So you should be fine.
I don't know.